You're currently looking at a live view of the Falcon 9 set to lift off at 11:48 p.m. Pacific time from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us once again for our coverage of the Transporter-7 mission. Yesterday, we had to stand down from our launch attempt due to unfavorable weather, but it's looking much better tonight with less than 5% probability of violation. In case you forgot, I'm Jessie Anderson. I'm joining you from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, just a few hours south of our launch site. Now tonight, we are launching SpaceX's 7th dedicated smallsat rideshare program mission, which marks our 24th launch for this year and 224th mission of all time. Now on this flight are 51 spacecraft, including CubeSats, MicroSats, hosted payloads, and orbital transfer vehicles carrying spacecraft to be deployed at a later time. There will be a total of 36 deployments made between 2 deployment sequences. The first deployment sequence will begin around the T+1 hour mark and will last approximately 20 minutes. Now, we are expecting to lose ground station coverage partway through the first deployment sequence, so only a few of our deployments will be visible today. However, when we're back in range of ground stations, we do expect to have telemetry and hear audio confirmation over the nets. The second and last deployment will happen at the T+2 hour and 35 minute mark after additional second stage burns. At T-10 minutes and about 30 seconds from liftoff, the vehicle is healthy, and we're currently working no issues and looking good for an on-time liftoff tonight. Weather is green, the range is ready to support our T0 of 11:48 p.m. Pacific time. If for some reason we do not launch today, we do have another opportunity tomorrow at the same time.
We're currently T-4 minutes and 50 seconds from liftoff, and on your screen is the payload fairing and the second stage. In about 40 seconds, we should see the TE clamp arms, which are right below the fairing, open up in preparation for the strongback to retract slightly away from the rocket until the hydraulics pull the TE even further away from Falcon 9 at T0 as it lifts off the pad. The TE, or transport reactor, is the structure that provides liquids, gases, electrical connections to the second stage, as well as air conditioning to the payload fairing. At this point, both the first and second stages are nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen at around T-3 minutes when we will hear the call out for liquid oxygen load completion on stage 1, and around T-2 minutes when we hear the call out for liquid oxygen load completion on stage 2. It is a bit cloudy, but the clamp arms have begun to open, and the strongback is beginning to recline away from the vehicle. And we should be hearing the call out for liquid oxygen load completion coming up on the first stage in about 17 seconds from now. And then at the T-2 minute mark, we should hear that same call out for stage 2.
Stage 1 lock load complete.
And there's that call out right there for liquid oxygen load completion on stage 1.
Now, the next event coming up will be at the T-2 minute mark, and that's when prop loading will complete on second stage, and that will conclude prop loading for Falcon 9. At that point, we will have 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen on the vehicle. That event is coming up here in just about 20 seconds. Currently just waiting for the call out for liquid oxygen loading conclusion on second stage.
Stage 2, lock flow complete.
And perfect timing, there's that call out. Now that we're done loading prop onto the vehicle, we will begin to vent out the liquid oxygen line on the transporter erector. And there you can see there's a better view, that venting happening there from the TE. Next up will be Falcon 9 in startup at the T-1 minute mark. That's where the internal flight computers take over the launch countdown. This vehicle is autonomous. So starting at the T-1 minute mark, the vehicle will be fully autonomous through the mission. We will also begin to pressurize the vehicles for launch at the T-1 minute mark.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And great call out. Now just waiting for the final call from the launch director.
LD is go for launch.
Great news. All systems are go for launch of Falcon 9 with all 51 payloads on Transporter-7.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition, engines full power, and liftoff of Transporter-7. Go Falcon, go Transporter.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
T plus 30 seconds into flight, and Falcon 9 has cleared the tower at Space Launch Complex 4 East. We're currently throttling down the engines in preparation for max Q. Max Q is the maximum
Nominal power and telemetry.
Max Q is the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will see on ascent. That's the largest structural load on the vehicle.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Good call outs there, and we are coming up on max Q in just a few seconds from now.
Max Q.
Great news, we've passed through max Q. Now with that, we do have a few events coming up here back to back. That will be MECO stage separation, stage 1 flip, SES-1.
MVAC chill has started.
And the start of the boost back burn. Now MECO is main engine cutoff. That's where we will shut down all of those engines that you are seeing lit up on your screen. That will help slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation. Stage 1 will begin to make its journey back to Earth with stage 1 flip and the boost back burn. And the second stage will ignite the MVAC engine for the first time with SES-1, or second stage engine start 1. And as a reminder, once we have stage separation, we should be able to see the shorter nozzle in there. You can actually see it on your screen. Again, we are flying a shorter nozzle for this mission. And you can see it there on your screen, and we are preparing for a few events coming up. MECO stage separation, S1 flip, or stage 1 flip, SES-1, and the boost back burn on the first stage.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
Stage 1 boost back startup.
And incredible views there. We've had MECO stage separation. The first stage vehicle has performed its flip maneuver and has started up its boost back burn. And on your right-hand screen, what an incredible view. You can see the shorter MVAC nozzle there, and that MVAC engine burning extremely bright on the screen. And we are coming up on fairing
Fairing
separation.
separation confirmed.
Perfect timing. You saw the fairing halves separating from the second stage. As they make their way back down to Earth, we will attempt to recover them. And again, just incredible views on your screen. On the left-hand side, you can see the boost back burn for the first stage vehicle.
Stage 1 boost back shut down.
And great call out. That concludes the boost back burn of the first stage as you saw that engine shut down. And on your right-hand screen, that MVAC engine is still burning bright. Now the next major milestone coming up will be the entry burn on the first stage, which is scheduled to occur around the T+6 minute mark.
We're currently in our first of 4 MVAC burns, and this burn should last until about T+8 minutes and 19 seconds. And as Jesse mentioned, the next milestone will be the first stage entry burn, which is coming up in about 2 minutes from now. For today's mission, unlike typical Falcon 9 missions, we'll be performing a single engine entry burn and a 3-engine landing burn on the first stage after stage separation. This is due to the change of the second stage engine performance with the shorter nozzle that you can see right there on your screen. So switching up the number of engines we light up during these 2 milestones on the booster during descent will allow us to more efficiently land on LZ-4. We have performed similar types of burns previously, most commonly on Falcon Heavy side boosters. This will, however, be the first Falcon 9 first stage to perform these burns with this changed engine configuration
Nominal trajectory.
to land back on land. You heard that good call out that they are on a nominal trajectory. But be sure to keep an eye out during both entry and landing burn to see if you can see the difference based on how many engines are lit up. We should be hearing the call out for entry burn on stage 1 in about 20 seconds from now, where engine 9 will relight.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
There's that call out. You can see that engine 9 has relit for entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
And we have had
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
and we have had a successful entry burn. As I mentioned earlier, we will be attempting to recover this booster for the 10th time today and are targeting a land landing on LZ-4, which is not too far from the launch pad. The first stage has 1 more burn left, which is the landing burn. During landing burn, 3 of the Merlin engines will relight, engines 1, 5, and 9, to produce enough thrust
Stage 1 transonic.
to slow down Falcon right before touchdown.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Great call out there. That landing burn has begun. You can see it right there.
Landing led deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And as you saw and probably heard, we had a successful first stage landing at landing zone 4. Successful cutoff.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Today's landing marks this booster's 10th landing and our 185th overall landing of an orbital class rocket. Next up, we are expecting the shutdown of the second stage MVAC engine.
MVAC shutdown.
And there it is, right on time. Coming up next, we have the second burn of our MVAC.
Nominal parking orbit.
We have the second burn of our MVAC engine on board the second stage around the T+57 minute mark. We'll be back in about 45 minutes to bring you live coverage of SES-2, followed shortly after by the first 35 payload deployments. Enjoy the tunes, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the webcast for Transporter-7, SpaceX's 7th dedicated smallsat rideshare program mission. We had a successful liftoff at 11:48 p.m. Pacific time from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. So far, we had 35 confirmed separation events and currently getting ready for the last deployment. As I mentioned a bit earlier, this deployment may happen a bit later than expected, so stick with us. For a full list of deployments, head over to SpaceX.com. And next up, we are awaiting the final deployment of the night.
Loss of signal, HPK.
Emishe, separation confirmed.
And there it is. You can see the Medja spacecraft for Tubitak Uzai drifting away from Falcon 9's second stage. And with that confirmation, it brings us to 36 of 36 deployments for this mission. If you're interested, a full listing of today's payloads can be found over at SpaceX.com. We would like to thank all of our rideshare customers for their support on today's mission. Continue to follow us at SpaceX.com, Twitter, and Instagram for updates on future missions and milestones. Thank you to all of our viewers for your continued support, and we'll see you again soon.